Hello there again. Welcome to the review segment of our show. I've seen a very nice photograph of Isaac J. Hyde, who's the Looks president, who's our reviewer this week. He's been joining us on the review. This one doesn't look like it. Shall we see the picture I saw?
Mama V, I beg you.
But how are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
Oh, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Akable, what up? What up? What up? What up?
I'm good. I'm good. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you too. I will only declare on the last day that I've been reviewing the papers with my son.
Okay. It's good to join you, Mommy.
Jay Hyde, you'll be doing the Ghanaian Times and the Statesman. Joseph, what are you doing?
I'll be doing the Daily Guide, the Daily Dispatch, and the Business Finder.
Okay, and I'll stick with the Daily Graphic and the Daily Heritage. So I think, Joseph, you should start today.
Yes, and so we're starting from the front page of the Daily Guide. It says, massive demo hits Mahama at Achim. And trust me, I'm truthful, Akufo-Addo says. He has his photograph. And Bono East getting first waste plant also on the front page. There are a number of other stories on the front page here. Obinim docket merged. There is also, you can copy ideas, not our work, is coming from Dr. Baumia. And Ghanaian pastor kills wife in US. There's a photograph of the couple. That's a story that I'll tell you about later on.
Yeah.
At the back page has extend nominations deadline as COSUA petitions AU. And Nordjylland role excites Michael Essien, also on the back page of the Daily Guide. I'll go to the Daily Dispatch now. The front page says, why I want to be president again. It's coming from Mr. John Dramani Mahama. And Ahoy on Rawlings' leadership style and vision. And we will finish paying refunds by end of September, president to DKM customers. And Akufo-Addo cut sword for a solid waste treatment plant in Bono East region, also on the front page of the Daily Dispatch. The back page has the president's story, as well as you are driving away swing voters, benefiting to Mahama and Akufo-Addo. And the last one for me will be that of the Business Finder. It says 15 million compost plant for Techiman. President Katsol says it will provide jobs for youth. And it has some details of season 2 of an entrepreneurship challenge. You can find details on the front page and in the inside pages as well. So that is it for the Dispatch, Business Finder, and Daily Guide.
All right, Jay, over to you. Next.
Yeah, Mama V, I'm starting with the Daily Statesman, and it reads that 1D1F, Akufo-Addo inspects 34 million starch processing factory at Amantin. Then it also reads that the real Sakawa happened under you. Angry Achim chiefs and citizens descend on Mahama for insulting them. It also captures the 15 million euro integrated recycling and compost plant takes off. And this was commissioned by President Akufo-Addo. England draw, the back page also talks about England's game, was the England draw Denmark game. Ronaldo passes 100 goals for Portugal. And I move on to the Ghanaian Times. Says that Bono East gets 50 million euro waste treatment plant. Chiefs, people of 3 Achim states demo against former President Mahama. Man jailed 10 years for robbery. Ghana population housing census now takes place next year. On the back page, it reads that Trade Minister inspects work on 4 million maize processing factory in Setre Central. And says that Minister distributes relief items to flood victims. In the middle spread, it brings in that Kita Port Project infrastructure development begins next year, says Transport Minister. These are the headlines.
Okay. All right, let me continue with the Daily Graphic newspaper. Front page, President cuts sword for recycling plants at Fiaso. Also, cabin examination malpractice, rogue websites hot. And WAEC is putting the spotlight on a number of websites that it says always comes up when they announce that examinations would happen. So just when they did the announcement of the BEC starting next week, they've seen quite a number of websites come up with names such as WAEC Exams Room, WAEC Seekers Exams Leaks, WAEC Pass Examination, WASI results upgrade, WAEC for 2020, such names linked to them. And essentially, there are students following because they want APO. And about 60,000 students, they say, who follow some of these websites. So there's more. We will probably be telling you some more after we run through the headlines. So let's go to the center spread of the Daily Graphic newspaper. In the center spread today, citizens demand more investment in social interventions, according to a study which has revealed a high demand for more investment in social protection intervention in the country. Respondents also raised concerns over inadequate public knowledge of available social protection interventions, their financing and delivery, and transparency of programs and services. Registrar General deploys beneficial ownership register October 1, also in the center spread of the paper on the back page. The Ministry of Health has received some 100,000 medical nose masks worth $150,000 from an international finance technology service company, OPE, and the details is on the back page. GRIDCo working to solve or to resolve power outages. It says the Ghana Grid Company Limited, main electricity transmission company in the country, has given an assurance that it is taking immediate steps to resolve the challenges its plants are facing, which have resulted in power outages in recent times. It said its plants in the western and eastern regions had suffered problems with some key transmission lines, and that it was working to provide solutions to address the setbacks. It just took my mind back to when the NDC launched its manifesto and said that places didn't have electricity was linked to perhaps because of what they were doing, and somebody didn't want people to either watch or listen or follow what was going on. Now, the Daily Heritage is my second paper and the last one. Front page of the Daily Heritage, Achim Sakawa saga, Mahama owes no apology, according to a spokesperson, James Ajene Boateng. Ofanko murder case, killer in quotes, landlord for Ankafo today. Construction of €15 million waste treatment plants begins in Bono East. UK-based Ghanaian pastor arrested for killing wife. Joseph has promised us details of the story. So I guess let's just get the details of some of the stories. Jay, what would you want to highlight on?
Yeah, Mama V, I'm interested in the Daily Graphic story about the springing up of websites going into the DEC examinations. We realized that quite recently we were very much against the call for receipt of WASI papers because of some leakages. And that was because we felt that WAEC as an institution must take responsibility. Almost all the time, it's as though students are made to pay the price for failures of some of these institutions and their responsibilities. And so it's good that this is coming before the paper starts, and would call on authorities to clamp down on some of these things, because eventually, if WAEC feels on the responsibility to protect their job in terms of, setting the questions, transportation, security, supervision, and everything, the students only go and sit there and write. They have no hand as to how papers leaks. And so receipts and, rewriting the exams for us is somewhat a lazy approach to dealing with some of these institutional failures. And so we are glad that this is coming up now. We would want the authorities to calm them down, because the era where only receipt becomes the solution to these problems, I don't think should be countenanced.
So, but I by exposing these websites and saying that this is the greatest threat to the credibility of the certificates that they issue, this has nothing to do with the student. Has it got a link? Because if a website comes and they've got this name and they say, oh, we can help you, naturally people will follow.
Yes, and you can't obviously blame them. Even at the tertiary level, I recall there was a time I used to do a lot of research online, and there was one time I chanced on, it's a foreign university, I chanced on their questions and I studied them. When I went to the exam hall, they were the same questions that had been set. And so I presuppose that my lecturer had actually taken a question from that university's website. But the point I'm making is that the website, they are doing their job. If it's contrary to law, it's fine. But if you're not pointing a specific law, then the question now comes that your concern should be how the website gets access to questions that you have set. Because the challenge has always been that students are punished when obviously they are just beneficiaries of something that's gone wrong. And so I am there, someone comes, we are preparing for an exam. Someone says, okay, I think these questions are coming. I'm not holding brief for those who actually go and give money to people to induce them to actually give their question. Not those ones. I'm talking about people who say that, Charlie, I think this question is coming. Let's discuss it and let's see whether it's going to come. And so they are still focusing on the wrong, and the actual problem is internal. And last time when this issue happened, we had Dr. Yawose Edichum even propose that they can even vary the question and mix it up. And so you don't necessarily have to have the same question for this student such as this. But then again, you know, because of the marking constraints, because they want it to be one question so that you know that number one is A, number two is B, then you mark all at the same time. And so that is the challenge that they are facing. But the real solution is not what they are looking towards if they intend to deal with the platforms that are spreading it.
So that's I guess that's one aspect. If what they do constitutes a crime, then the law would take its course. But it also comes with issues of integrity even within WAEC itself. So I agree with you. You can't push all the blame to some people who want to make money and have websites that attract students because they know students will be interested in questions. And if they have anything close to it, definitely people will follow. But how about internally? Who handles the questions? Who is sending the questions out? And it's a whole chain. Recently, I've been following this issue as well. Sometimes I hear from the photocopier, from the photocopy station. Sometimes it's from TAs, but I don't know if WAEC will have TAs or...
In fact, the press conference they addressed, Latif's report yesterday on the midday news, it actually made a point that they even found that some of their invigilators went into the exam hall with the answers and handed the answers to the students. So this even goes beyond, even aside from giving the questions out, because I do not set WAEC questions. But if I'm going to take an exam today and a colleague comes and says that, look, I have some questions I think you should look at, I'm going to look at those questions. I'm preparing for an exam. I'm trying every question I can try just to be well prepared.
Yeah. I guess we're also interested in how they deal with these people as well. And it shouldn't be kept from us, because that will also send a strong signal to others within their regulation, within, you know, the people that they themselves supervise.
Exactly.
Yeah, Jay?
Exactly. So you realize that over the years, the only thing you don't see WAEC instituting internal measures. Never at any point in time are we saying that people have been paraded before the media, or let's say any press conference or any form of communication that these are persons who have been caught in the act of examination leakages, because examination leakage can only come from WAEC. WAEC is an independent body. It controls from A to Z the whole process of the WASI exams. The only thing the student does is to be told that this is the day that you are writing your paper, this is your center, go there and write. And so for us, I mean, reset, rewrite is a lazy approach to dealing with some of these issues. I think that for WAEC to, win back some of us, good image, it should be able to hold people accountable. And then I think that's why I agree with Akable. We need to go a step further. I mean, I believe that these websites will come, but if as an independent body, it compromises the integrity of your organization, because there is a need to go a step further to make sure that you bring in the police. It's a matter of law. And so we bring in the police to deal with them.
Yeah. Well said. Okay, Joseph, tell us about this issue that's been, it's like everywhere now. I saw it yesterday, read it, and I thought, something isn't right.
They said it was actually captured on CCTV footage. It's a Ghanaian-born pastor, Sylvester Ofori, has been arrested by the Orlando police in the U.S. state of Florida on suspicion of killing his wife, Barbara Ofori, on Tuesday morning. The victim, 27, an employee of Navy Federal Credit Union, was shot and killed at the Gardens Park Boulevard, west of the John Young Parkway and north of the Mall of Millenia, as she arrived for work that morning. It's not clear what might have triggered the Carlos incident, which has since set major American media outlets in motion. It says he was apprehended, that is the suspect, and taken into custody. According to him, the bloody incident was captured on a surveillance video, and added that Ofori took off from the scene. Immediately he shot the wife. There's a quote here that says, "You can tell," that is from the video, "that she was trying to get inside. Unfortunately, he shoots her," he said. Police chief narrated and continued that the victim appeared surprised by what was happening. An eyewitness is quoted as saying that I'm still shaking up right now. And so she's very troubled. The guy was walking behind her, she continues. I don't know if she knew he was there or not. The next thing I knew was he raised his hand with a gun in it and he shot her. The witness recounted. So very.
And we're now told that the gunshot was about 7 times.
Wow.
That's the other reports that you would find, for instance, on myjoyonline.com. But I was also reading related stories, and there was another site that was talking about the fact that there were issues of abuse in the home, and the lady's family had asked that she leaves. Okay. So she wasn't exactly living with the husband, the pastor, but that's just what's been reported on the other side. There was another one that I also read, which said that her brothers had taken her to the house to go and collect some of her items, and allegedly either abused the man or there was some kind of confrontation. So this was the aftermath of what had happened in their home earlier when she had gone there to collect her items. Whatever, I mean, the stories are a lot. It's just scattered all around.
Very sad, though.
I guess what the issue is the fact that a husband has killed the wife. And we're not clear. There's also another website that was also reporting of things that the man had posted on social media. And essentially, if you put all the pieces together, it's got issues of either trust or something like that. So here's a pastor posting almost every day something about don't believe somebody who is smiling nicely at you, or tiger, or issues like that. So it's all around, but it's really, really sad that this is a person that we're told very close to the entrance of her office, and she was shot by no other person than a husband 7 times. She died as they rushed her to the hospital. Jay, I don't know if you've also heard anything related to this story.
Yeah, similarly, I just like Akable said, I read the story. I mean, the unfortunate bit is the fact that this is a pastor. There are images of himself and the lady at church, and I mean, sharing some good time and all. Very unfortunate. There's also this piece going around where he shared some, statements on his Facebook page, including one that I remember, which says that a lion's tongue can lick paint off a wall, and that is the second most potent after that of a woman. I mean, so you could tell that some of these things were coming. I mean, more often than not, I think that it also talks about mental health. Sometimes we need to be closer to people we suspect of having sometimes depression and other things, because if people could read between the lines, there were some, signs which showed that this gentleman was having some problems. Perhaps if people close to him could have gotten closer to him, we could have stemmed something like this. Very unfortunate.
And we've just put the pictures, a picture at least of the pastor and now the late's wife was shot, as we're told, by this gentleman. We'll see how this case goes, really, and we will share fallout of this with you. There's also another gory one that Joseph is going to share, I guess, right now. This one to a husband, we're told, who decided to wash his wife with acid. Can you imagine?
Wow.
Yeah. It's happened at Madina Zongo. It's actually happened a year ago, but he has been on the run for 1 year. He was just arrested in this month here, and we are told that he had accused the wife of engaging in extramarital affairs, and so she was unhappy and she decided to pack out of the house. Now, the prosecution says when Adams saw that the wife had packed out, he came and demanded that his car documents, he could not find them. And so the accused threatened her that if he did not find the car documents, something will happen to her. Then on June 9, at about 10 p.m., he came to have a word with her. Unknown to her, he actually had the acid in some container that he was holding. Adams, who had concealed it with a polythene bag, poured it on her face and body and bolted. So the prosecution said she shouted for help and was rescued and rushed to the hospital. And so after being on the run for more than a year, or close to a year, he was apprehended this month and he has been taken to court. He has pleaded not guilty. And so it's going to go through the full trial as it ought to go through. Evidence will be led and the court will decide. But he has been granted bail to the tune of 100,000 cedis with 4 sureties. And so, unfortunate story.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate. I think also what is unfortunate about it is the fact that, well, okay, we don't know if he's guilty or not. So let me save the rest of the comments. But just updates on the father and stepmother of a boy in Cape Coast who jumped from a story building to his death.
I remember that story.
There's an update in the Ghanaian Times newspaper. The case is now in courts, and the judge has kept the two in police custody. They are to reappear on the 25th of September. So that's the updates with this. The deceased jumped from the top floor of the apartments in Cape Coast to escape further punishment from his father. And so they are supposed to assist in investigation. So there will be further updates on the 25th of September. Yesterday, Joseph, you shared the story about the man who stole 70 Ghana, the handbag that has 70 cedis. Okay, so I was just trying to read what has been reported today. After that, he actually also followed another lady to steal from her. That was when he was arrested.
After the 70
2 hours after the 70 cedis.
Oh, so he was more or less on a robbing spree.
Yeah, so it was on
the money wasn't enough for him.
Yeah, obviously. I guess, obviously when you realize that, oh, I actually got only 70 cedis, then you want more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he made it, I guess the reason I had issues with the 10 years, he made it a bit easy. He just confessed that, yes, I did it. And even took the police to where he had kept the bag.
Okay,
you know?
I guess still the nature of the crime, it didn't make the mitigation effects that should have come in with the pleading guilty and the fact that he had shown. So maybe the judge was actually, because the threat of harm, so that is what I think is the best the judge did for him actually.
Yeah, I agree. I just feel a bit sad for him because, he had, I don't know.
You've been sad for him from yesterday.
Because this somebody, he doesn't have a job. This is a jobless person. I'm not saying that if you don't have a job, go and steal. So you see, you don't have a job, you go and steal, you get a harsh sentence like this. You just worsen your case. Why don't you just do something, like something that will even earn you something small? Because what you really need is to survive, is to just get food to eat. So instead of going through the trouble of taking a knife and following someone and snatching their bag, why don't you help carry somebody's load or something? Get some 10 Ghana cedis or 5 Ghana cedis that can buy you food to eat to survive for the day. And keep hustling. I mean, all of us hustle every day. Let's do myjoyonline.com. Let's run through the stories on our page, myjoyonline.com, before we go. Joseph?
Okay, the stories on...
I think that the issue of legalizing Okada that the transport minister disclosed yesterday, it's a certain twist, isn't it? Just when the NDC said, "Oh, we will legalize it when
after they had actually made it illegal."
Exactly.
Now the government said, "Okay, there's consultations actually ongoing,"
and they say it has nothing to do with the NDC. It's difficult to defend that, isn't it?
What are your own thoughts on that policy?
I just know that it's very annoying when you're driving behind a motor. See, the point is that our roads are not made for that. So I don't know if it's just like a populist thing that we're doing, or we're looking at the issue itself. What are we curing? We are curing the joblessness. That's what they say, because there are a lot of people who don't have jobs. But are we looking at the roads? Are we looking at the nature of our roads? What's the
indiscipline on the part of these riders?
Exactly. How are we fixing that too?
I saw the riders. I used the motorbike when I was in Rwanda, and it's nothing like what we see in Ghana. When you are driving and you are behind them, they get off the road. They get off the road quickly because they know that the road is for the cars. When the light is red, they all stop. Just in front of the cars, they move away. They stop. They don't move. They don't move in between the cars and try and break your side mirror and all those things that we all tend to experience.
Yeah.
And so there's a huge indiscipline challenge here that makes me fear for this policy. But aside from that, if you're able to deal with that, I mean, I see no reason why, like by Simmons was arguing, why I can have a motorbike and put you at the back and ride you, but when I decide to take money from you, it is illegal.
Just when our director started, playing the video, I don't know if you saw it. That's a motorbike riding on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah,
On
just
the wrong
moving. The
side
light
of
is
the
red.
road.
Yeah,
See?
it's going.
So they say legalize and regulate. Jay, I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, myself, I mean, I was in Rwanda, and similarly, they were very well organized. I mean, they even have an outfit, different colors, which determines the areas that you move to. I mean, my biggest fear would regulate the operations of Okada. Sometimes you are in traffic, they pass by you, they break your mirror, they scratch you, and they don't even turn. I mean, acquiring driver's license too. How do we ensure that these guys have gone through the rigorous training for them to, understand the road traffic regulations through, I mean, various illegal means? And so it's worrisome. As much as we want to cure the issue of unemployment, for me, I think that as a bit populist, as always, we are trying to find a solution using a lazy approach when we could probably stem it from a different angle.
Well, Jay Hyde, thank you for today. You are back with us tomorrow as we wrap up the week. Thank you. Thanks a lot. That's the NUC's president, Isaac J. Hyde. Our reviewer this week, Joseph Akabley, is my colleague here. Thanks, Joseph.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I'll wrap it up nicely with breakfast tomorrow, yeah?
That's nice.
And breakfast is Auntie Jane. Stay with us. We've got Sports Oracle is coming up. And Serena Williams, if you've been following the US Open, she's through to the semi-finals. Is this another Grand Slam for her? We'll tell you how it all went down. Stay with us for sports.